We are in. All right, guys, top of the morning. Happy Friday, February 9th. Coming to you, just excited. I'm really, really stoked on where we're at. I'm working on some really big projects for the company to bring you guys together, do more things in coaching, lining up new speakers. Whoever's speaking right now, if you can put yourself off of me on mute, I'm just getting a background noise. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. So I'm just excited about where we are. And I'm constantly trying to see how much pressure I can put on my plate and how much I can actually handle, still get sleep, still work out, and still do all the things that I'm doing. As you guys know, and this is not a brag at all, this is to let you know that I'm willing to push myself beyond what I thought that I was capable of. I'm on day 5 of 75 day hard. And every time I talk to somebody that has never done that before, here's the response that I always get from everybody that has never done this before. Well, I've been thinking about that. Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of research on that. Fuck that. You just make a choice and you do it. Is it hard? Yes. Am I tired? Yes. Last night it was freezing. And so my wife and I, we decided to walk the 2.1, 2.3 miles all the way to the gym. So we get our outside workout. And then we went in the gym and did our workout and then had Larissa pick us up. So no matter what. And then I had to come home and do a project with Silas. And I was spent, I was beat, but I'm just saying this because I want to be a model for you guys. I want to be a model. I want to model that I am going to put as much pressure on myself that I possibly can in order to get better. And I want the same for you guys. If you're not feeling like you have any pressure in your game right now, or in your life, in your fitness, in your production, then you need to turn up that intensity. And so I'm going to apply pressure continuously. And my hope that inspires you to go and put more pressure in your life and business. So let's go ahead and get rolling, you guys. I'm excited for today. I got some things I want to talk to you about, but let's do this. I'm going to go over to Otis. Otis, you're here. You're ready. You got your puffy jacket on. I love it. Looking like he's just got off the L train. So my man, I'm going to have you take us out on the field on this beautiful Friday morning, big dog. Let's hear it. Let's go.
Puffy wanted me to go get him a slice of cheesecake, so I had to get bundled up.
Hey, how you doing over there? Huh? Go ahead, man. Hit us with
All
it.
right. It's Friday, you guys. I mean, it could be the end of someone's week, but it shouldn't be. It could be the beginning of you setting up for some showings, getting with some clients. Just stay focused, stay pushing it. I want to say thank you to the team. Thank you to Elias. I missed some kudos yesterday for the team during the Zillow Flex. I want to show everybody on this team that you can do whatever that you want to do. If y'all see me, I'm out here on one leg, but I ain't letting that shit stop me. I'm doing actually kind of better than what I was doing before I hurt my leg. So I'm not saying to go hurt your leg, but just stay focused, keep pushing it. Come Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, it does make a huge difference. I mean, for me, it's really all about the mental. Like my mental has been going up and down, but I said it in the post the other day that Elias made for me, and thank you, Coach. It was a sweet one. You gotta let all that stuff go, man. You know, your brothers and your sisters here. The reason why we come here every day and we talk like this is to let a load off. It can help your mental. You can learn something in negotiations. You can learn something about anything in real estate. So I highly suggest you come. Put the camera on because I don't know a lot of you guys, and I would like to at least see your face. So when I do see you at headquarters or moving by, I know who you are. And at the end of the day, just keep striving, baby. Be fast, be you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, I appreciate you, my man, and I'm glad you like that reel. It's a live cut from these sessions. And you guys, that's another thing too. Like as you're building content, wherever you're at in the content game, if you have your camera on and you participate and you say something that is valuable, then we're going to chop that. We're going to put it into a reel. And now you have a new piece of content that you don't have to think about what you're going to post for that day. And that's exactly what Otis did. So I appreciate that. I want to give some kudos to 3 people. Hopefully they're on the call, but I see one is on the call. Aaron Chris, Tim Chen, and then Hugo. Now we do our bi-monthly buyer consultation workshop. Now this is open for everybody, and if you're skilled, you've been at this for a while, it's cool. Every single person can come into these sessions, and it's an opportunity for us to refine. Well, in those sessions, I have you guys role play through your buyer's consultation. I want to hear how you're saying things because here is my goal. My goal is to make everyone masterful at presentations and masterful at communication. I want your communication to feel so rhythmic. It feels like a dance and it feels like a beautiful dance. So they did such an incredible job yesterday. So I just want to give a shout out to them. Aaron, I see you on the line, my man. If you could, and then Hugo's tapping in right now. Aaron, how do you feel after that session? And are you inspired to go and do more of that? Tell me a little bit about where you're at, my man.
Yeah, I was after I got off that session, I was juiced. Even when you had to kind of duck out for a second, you had something going on, and Hugo and I were kind of practicing while you were away. We were vibing pretty good, and it was just making me feel good about where I'm at with the team and everything. I would say if I'm going to be doing some constructive criticism of myself, I've been sitting around practicing that for like 4 months. I probably should have started, initiating that process at the end of December, but nonetheless, I did it, and at the end of it, I felt good. So it was another reminder of, being in your own head, spending a lot of time not doing it, and then I don't know what it was about February. I just was like, you know what, to hell with this. I got to start doing this stuff, and now I'm thinking, why did I wait? So anybody out there who's kind of like me, who swims around in your own head and is reluctant to jump in, and when you finally do, you always are like, damn, that was the best thing ever. So just do it.
Well, so proud of you guys and everything that you did. And then just your flow. And listen, you guys, that's something that is a constant evolution. We should be always practicing our buyer's consultation. We need to get better. And here's something I want to share. I'm going to try to create something really quick, and hopefully this conveys because I have chicken scratches, but let's do this. Can everybody see my screen? Can everybody see this whiteboard that I have up? Yeah, okay. So I just want to make a very, very simple illustration. All right. Can everybody see that, what I just put on the screen? If you could see it, tell me what it is.
Yes.
All right. What is it? Somebody say what that is.
The circle.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Participation at a very high level. I appreciate you. So here's one thing that we all need to be conscious of, and we need to think about this in every single interaction with a client, when we're prospecting, when we're on the phones, when we're knocking on doors, when we're going to open houses. These conversations that we're having, I feel that each of you have such a great personality. You have a great way of communicating. But what's happening, and what happens a lot of the times, and Aaron, you can contest to this, we're not closing the circle enough. And what I mean is that we're having great conversation and we're not closing that loop. Meaning, yeah, wonderful. Hi, Tom. Yeah, great. I understand your needs, what you're looking for, how we can help, how you can serve, all these things. And well, good. How would you like to? There's just like no definitive close to that conversation. And when you want to close a conversation, when you want to take the consumer to the next level in the sales process, Aaron, Chris, what are the phrases that you should be? You can't see this circle. Okay. It's all right. I'm just going to take it off. It's you. I made my point. The circle. We need to close the circle. The best way to move a client, move a consumer, or move a potential prospect through the sales process is a simple set of words. And Aaron, Chris, what are those words?
Here's the next steps. Here are the next steps.
Here's what
here's
do
what
next.
We're going to do next. Yeah, here's what we're going to do next.
You guys, I cannot tell you, when you're on the phone, when you're closing for an appointment, when you're closing for the next step in the sales process, every single one of us needs to get in the habit of saying, here's what we do next. So I need everyone to take themselves off of mute, and I'll wait. And on the count of 3, I just need everyone to say this with me. Here's what we do next. You guys with me? All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Let me hear it.
Here's what we do next. Here's what we do next.
Okay, thank you. You guys, listen. You're out showing homes. Oh, is that little Cleone there?
Sorry, man. My bad.
He said, here's what we do next. Mom, feed me. That's what you should be doing next. When you think about this, you guys, say you do an amazing conversation with somebody. Otis sends me a lead of somebody he knows that's thinking about buying a house. Otis isn't a realtor. And then I have that conversation. Hey, I just want to find out a little bit more about what you're trying to accomplish, where you're looking, so on and so forth. I had a great conversation with them. And now we want to set it up for an in-person meeting or a buyer's consultation. Wonderful. I just want to make sure that I understood you correctly and I didn't miss anything. Wonderful. Here's what we do next, Otis. Here's what we do next. Tells the consumer, whoever you're speaking with, is that you are leading them through this journey. At the end of a conversation, there should never be a, oh my God, like, okay, or that awkward time where it's just like, should I ask for the appointment? Did I ask for the appointment? Or I just said, okay, well, we'll be in touch. No, like you always have to think about how can I close the loop? Ashley, it was really great talking with you. I'm excited about our next event. Thanks for coming through. Here's what we do next. Love to get you on my email list, and I'd love to set up an opportunity for us to go live next Friday. That way we could talk about the vision and what we're creating. I have a 2 o'clock and I have a 6 o'clock available. What would work best for your calendar? All right, perfect, Ashley. I'm looking forward to connecting. Thank you for everything that you and the Money Store do for us and the company, and I'm looking forward to our live next week. And I'm just using the context of having a conversation with Ashley. Every single thing that we do with the consumer, we have to close the loops. We're leaving too many circles open, and that we're not passing a baton to ourselves throughout the entire presentation, throughout the entire transaction. Whether you're a listing agent, whether you're a buyer's agent, here's what we do next. Allows them to know that this person's in control, they're future casting, and they know exactly where they're taking me, versus a consumer not knowing what the next steps are every single time. And if they don't know the next steps, that's on you. That is your responsibility to make sure that they know the next steps. Questions, thoughts, insights on that conversation? I see people shaking their heads. Aaron, Chris, do you want to say anything? Hugo, you were on that call yesterday. Ashley, I used you as an example. If you want to share anything, anybody want to share any thoughts? Let's go, Blessing. Let's go, Otis.
You know, the simplicity of asking, or like not asking for them to tell you what they need, but assuming the next step, like that just puts you in the place of being the professional, being the one guiding the conversation. The thing that you have to do is make sure that you know what your next step is before you meet with the client. So whatever, even the conversation you have, just having a clear idea of, here's what we're going to do next. I know you said you want to wait, but here's what we're going to do next. And just continuously moving the ball forward, and also making sure that you write it down. And whether you're in Follow Up Boss or whatever CRM you are, like make that a scheduled activity to not only accomplish the activity, but also for you to prepare for it. And then also to prepare for the next step. So you continuously move them down the field.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. And Ashley, I'm going to come to you last, and hopefully we could play this video, because while we're talking, I get a video and it says, congratulations, what's next? So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So Otis, let's go to you, big dog. What's thoughts, contributions, insights in the conversation?
We call it moving the needle forward. I think you should always do that with your clients. When you say what we, or using other words like our, like here's our next step. So it lets them know that they're with you. And then giving something of value. We always want to just, hey, set this, hey, set that. But if you're giving something, what I like to do is I always slide the buyer's consultation to them off top and be like, here, familiarize yourself with it a little bit. That way, when Friday or Saturday, like we come along, when we set that appointment, you already kind of skim through it, you look over it a little bit. And then I would love, Elias, for about 20 minutes of your time so I can go over all this stuff so you feel comfortable for us taking that next step together. So yeah, it's just all about wordplay and making sure that you're saying us, we, so they know it's drilled in their head that hey, this is my guy, this is my lady, and I'm seeing it through.
I love it. I love it. Otis, I absolutely love this. Jacob, to answer your question directly, my client isn't ready now. What should I do as my next step for her, taking her to see a few houses today? Well, if she's out seeing houses, some part of her is ready. And so we obviously have to understand exactly what her timeline is. So I would do the showings with her. Wonderful. Awesome. On a scale from 1 to 7, where would you rank these houses? Perfect. Here's what we do next. I want to make sure I take you through a home buyer's consultation so I can explain to you what the buying process is from start to finish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you my strategy and how you're going to get your offer accepted in this very, very competitive landscape in the Bay Area. We do that via Zoom. It takes typically about 45 minutes. We can do that tonight or tomorrow. What works best for you? And I'm going to look away and I'm going to look directly at my phone, right? I'm not going to be like, what works best for you? No, we do that. It's buyer's consultation strategy. I tell you how to get your offer accepted in a competitive landscape. I do that today or tomorrow. What works best for you? And I'm literally opening up my calendar. And then there's that awkward moment. You're not looking at them. All you're getting them to say is, oh, tomorrow at 2 o'clock works perfect. Wonderful. I'll send you over the calendar invite. And in the notes section will be my direct Zoom link. And I'm looking forward to seeing you. And I have some homework for you. And we talked about this yesterday, Greg. I have some homework for you. Tonight, what I want you to do is I want you to write down a series of questions that are super important to you, the things that you need to know or want to know or curious about. That way I can address those questions and then I can share with you everything I need to share with you. Sound good? Wonderful. So what am I doing? Once again, I am showing them that I am the leader. I am the teacher. I am walking them through this process. Ashley, let's go.
I love that. And I did that at an open house, almost verbatim, showed them the calendar right in front of their faces so that they could pick the date themselves. And then I reassured them because they always think, oh, you're a lender, you're going to run my credit. So I always address that right up front. We're not going to run your credit. I'm just going to ask you some questions and provide whatever value I can to make you feel confident and to learn a little bit more about this process. And then they're like, oh, she's not going to run my credit. It is free. It doesn't cost me anything. It's just going to empower me. And that kind of takes those things away right up front before they get to it. But I wanted to say how much I love this sentence. What happens next? It is a pinnacle part of my business. My sister does about 100 transactions in Washington, all VA. And yeah, she's killing it. I'm so proud of her. And she also speaks about this. And this is one of the things she speaks about is she will not finish a conversation without saying, this is what we do next. And I love that, Otis. This is what we do next. This is what we're going to do next. We're on the same team. I'm here to guide you. And I'm going to show you what that next step is so that we can add some value. And then I did send you my video. Every single client, when they get into contract, that's the title of the video. Congratulations. What's next? And then I go over next steps because this is really scary for people, especially first-time home buyers, which is what so many people are that are shopping right now. They're first-time home buyers. So if we can give them the blueprint of this is what's going to happen next, they go, okay, I understand. I can see it. I can relax. And it takes some of that initial anxiety away.
God, I absolutely love this. And, obviously coming from a person that has done 100 deals, I mean, this is obviously something that works at a very high level, but here's what everybody on the call can do, should do, and I implore you to put into flow. Go into your inbox, or excuse me, into your email. And what you can do if you're using Mixmax or whatever other type of video service that you're using, I personally would do Mixmax because then you have all of these add-ons here. What I would do is I would create a series of videos that breaks down the whole entire process if you're working with buyers, also if you're working with sellers. What these will do is you can label all of these and you can say, okay, contingency removal, right? You could say EMD is submitted. You can say that verification of property was just done, key date, all of these things, right? And so every time a milestone happens in the transaction, they're getting an email from you with a video letting them know, hey, you guys, I know that you're probably experiencing a little bit of stress right now. Last night, you guys submitted your EMD, and I want to first off let you know that I know that this time can be scary, but I'm here for you. And now it's going to get real. And here's what happens next, right? Like they got to know, like in that time where they're super stressed out, they just submitted their EMD. And oh my God, we saved up so much money. And now we just submitted this wire. And oh my God, like all this emotion that's going on, like having them understand what's next. Then even before you get into contract, we set up a buyer's consultation. Here's what we do next. Then we go out seeing homes. Now they say at a home in Berkeley, I love this house. What do we do to make an offer? Here's what we do next. What we're going to do is we're going to review comps, disclosures, all of the reports, and then we're going to decide based on all of that data, what our offer amount's going to be based on what the market's doing, right? Now we prepare the RPA, and here's what we do next. We're going to schedule one more Zoom call to go over the RPA so I can go over it line by line with you so you know exactly what you're signing. Wonderful. And then now, it's accepted. Now you're doing the series of videos. It's every single thing that we're doing creates this enhanced experience for them. That's how you build a referral business. That's like, man, my realtor did every single thing along the way. And I was always at ease because Vernon helped me understand what was coming next. They don't know. They don't know. That's why they're leaning to us as the expert, as the professionals, the doctors, the CPA, as the lawyer, because our words are gospel for them. So you guys, I want you guys to reflect on that. Let's go to Vernon, and then we'll go to Hugo, and then we'll go to Nicole. I don't want to miss you guys. And hold on, you guys. Santa or boxer? Santa or boxer?
Warm. Hella warm.
You said warm. Let's go, Vernon.
Hey, good morning. I just want to speak to the strategy that Elias is putting before us in terms of celebrating the milestones in an informative way by creating a real small clip. Lisette and I took that advice and it has been powerful. Okay, so we have a small video of the two of us congratulating them at every milestone in the transaction, from the moment that our offer's been accepted all the way down, all the way through closing of escrow, right? So the feedback that we get from our client base around that is that it's a different layer of engagement, right? Interaction, relationship with the twist. It's a personal touch, and it is a separator. So, you know, I hope you took some notes on that. Case study, Lisette and I, that shit is powerful.
Man, I absolutely love it. I appreciate you sharing, my man. Let's go over to Hugo. Hugo, thoughts, contributions, insights, and then we'll get to Nicole and we'll shift the gears in the conversation. Let's go, Hugo.
Yes, sir. So my thoughts after yesterday, I mean, I personally, like, when if it's an open house lead, an online lead, something that's not a referral lead, I can typically, I know I want to close a circle, but when it comes to a referral, I personally kind of leave it in the air. And I know because I went back to my follow-up boss after we had that training, and I noticed that most of my referrals, I left that circle open. And it's because, you know, I get caught up in my head. You know, I start thinking like, hey, you know, I don't want to feel too salesy or too pushy. But I started thinking, at the end of the day, what if I go to the doctor and they don't tell me like what we're gonna do next? You know, they kind of just leave it in the air. It's kind of like a disservice. So now it totally shifted my mindset that, you know, it's not being pushy, it's not being salesy. Instead, it's like, you know, doing them a service, you know, giving them what they need. And then
Yeah.
before, I want to show you guys, I'm about to go walk my dog. I'm on the Vernon vibes, 49.
That's right. That's right. Here's the thing, you guys. Dismantle the belief that a salesperson is a negative thing, right? A great salesperson knows how to connect and build amazing relationships, right? And if you are not doing that, then probably you're not a good salesperson. You're coming off salesy because all you're doing is pushing, pushing, pushing instead of asking questions that allow you to receive, receive, receive. That's all a great salesperson is. So at the end of the day, we are salespeople. We are consultants. We are relationship builders. But it's okay if you are a little aggressive, if you're doing it in a tactful way. If you're doing it in a tactful way, doing it with a smile, you're doing it with intent to truly, truly build a bond and a relationship that serves that person, that serves that person. Because at the end of the day, I could ask everybody, yes, I want to serve. Yes, I want to serve. Well, then just be that person for them. And it's okay. We sell homes. We help people change their lives. That's a good, positive thing to know. Let's go. I think it was Nicole, then we'll go Damian, and then we'll go Joanne. Nicole, what's good?
I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying, as far as like using Mixmax. You could also, for those that use KB Core, if you go in your smart campaigns and create a template, you can make the video, put it on YouTube as unlisted and drop it in that template and use it that way so that it's within your CRM and just easy to find all the time, even though it's easy to find in Mixmax too. But I notice a lot more people are using KB Core now, so I just wanted to throw that out there.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. Joanne, and then we'll go Damian.
Yeah, so I raised my hand right before you said the serve thing. So that's what I was going to say, is that you have to remember, and I have to remind myself of this, because I have also always felt like I don't want to be salesy, I don't want to be pushy, but at the same time, you have to remember that you're there to help them. You're actually trying to inform them and serve them. So if you remind yourself of that, then that can change the way that you come off. So you're not trying to sell them. You're not trying to sell them something they don't want. You're trying to help them get what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. Damian, what's good, bud?
This just reminded me, my wife sent me a video about a week ago just about verbiage that we use, and it's a little on topic, but a little off. But if you're following up, you know how a lot of people like to say, I'm just following up, or I'm just checking in. Instead of that, exactly, an action item, and another way of saying it is, does it make sense to A, B, and C? Does it make sense if we, does it make sense? And then you get, and it's more of an open question than it is a closed question of a yes or no. I'm just following up. Do you want to go see blah, blah, blah? No. Or they just don't look at it. I guess if some type of way psychologically, it triggers something else. So it's been working for me over the past week and a half, or however long ago she sent me the video.
Yes, I absolutely love this. And it goes back to something that we're actually going to launch. And I'm so glad that you're talking about this. So I'm going to launch a Slay Day. And what a Slay Day is for our internal people that are active listing agents that are getting Zillow Flex seller leads. But I think that the messaging is congruent across the board. And so I want to share this with you. The idea of Slay Day is sign listing agreement. So that's what the acronym is for, hashtag Slay Day. So the thoughts behind this is that when you look at the leads in our database, right? When we look at, say you have seller leads in your database, and all of us have been on, or most of us have been on, a listing appointment, maybe didn't get it. Well, instead of just, hey, following up, Tom, I wanted to see, what your thoughts are. You thought about getting into home or selling the home by springtime. Where are you at? Just want to follow up with you and Joan. That's okay, right? Let's think about good, better, and best. Let's get to the best way to communicate with that person. What I would do is I would audit every single conversation that I'm going to have when I'm going to get prospecting, right? I got my list, I got my coffee, got my scripts, right? So now I'm ready. So now what I'm going to do is if I have sellers that I've communicated with in the past, what I'm doing is I'm running all the comps, right? I'm looking at the market. I'm seeing how many offers were on each house in that neighborhood in the last, 30 days. And that's the communication that I'm having with them. Hi, Ashley. Hey, Ashley, it's Elias Astuto. I'm following up with you. Like I said, I promised to, or like I promised you 2 months ago. I have some information about the market that is definitely important to you. And then you share where the market is at and telling them exactly what is happening in the surrounding areas. If you're working with buyers and you're going through your buyer pool, what is happening in the market since they last were looking at homes? Say you have somebody that was looking at homes 3 months ago. They've been quiet. They sometimes open emails for you, but we know that their payment difference is 300, 400. That's a different conversation versus, hey, just checking in. Did you want to go see some houses? No? Okay, cool. Let me know if you ever need anything. Well, it's fucking weak. It's weak. We have to look at every single conversation we're going to have and say, how can I audit this? And how can I move them closer down the funnel? And so I appreciate that sentiment to me, and I appreciate everything that everyone's sharing. The message here, very clear, is to make sure that we're closing that loop. And you know what? Kenny and I, he is masterful at this okay, cool, where are we at on that? Cool, let's close that loop. And he's masterful at saying, okay, where are we at? And I never leave conversations with Kenny without that circle unfilled. And so great contribution so far, you guys. I appreciate it. I want to share some thoughts with you. Greg, are you on the line still? Greg going once, Greg going twice. I think Greg has stepped out. Okay, cool. I have something I want to share with you guys. And if you don't have this book, go to Amazon right now and buy this book. It's Habits That Make a Champion. And the author of this book is Alistair McCall. Now, I've been reading this book and I'm stuck on this book. The chapters are like 5 minutes long. It's a really cool read, and it's breaking down championship mindset, championship behavior, your environment, how you're showing up, how you're practicing. And it took me back to our year in review meeting the other day. And if you guys remember it, I shared a quote and I'm going to share it again. It's once you say farewell to high standards and discipline, you say goodbye to success. And I wanted to dive into this topic a little bit more because each of you have made a conscious decision to play at a bigger level in your life and business. And my hope is, because why would you be here if you're not making a conscious choice to grow? Once you raise your standards and you don't waver on it, because the moment that you waver on the standards that you set for your life and business is the moment that you're a liar to yourself. And I don't mean this to offend anybody. And if it offends somebody, that's a personal issue. It's not my issue. What you need to understand is that if you're setting standards for yourself and you're not living up to those standards, then you have to answer to yourself, not to me. The world will see it because you're not going to be consistent. You're not going to have the production. You're not going to show up in the way that you want to show up. That's going to be evident. So my question for you guys, and maybe it's something that you just write down, I have a series of questions to ask yourself as a practice. First off, what are the standards or the absolutes in your business, right? And can those standards be seen? I promise you this. If you don't know Vernon, you meet Vernon. Vernon has a standard of exercise. He has a standard of exercise, and you can see it on the way that he carries himself and the way that he looks. There's a standard that is built in to the way that he focuses on his health. And if you were to insert a new standard into your life and heighten a standard in your life, what would that be? And what do you believe the positive result would be if you put a new standard into your life? I talked to somebody yesterday who's battling a crazy life-changing illness. He has a tumor in his brain. And the tumor in his brain is pushing on the back part of his eyes that control sight. And if the doctors do any type of surgery, it could mean he potentially goes blind. Why do I tell you this? He's looking at his life and saying, you know what? The one thing that I need to do is I just need to stay active. I need to move. I need to stay active because every time that I move and I'm active, it is helping the pain that I'm in because it's causing this tumor is causing his hips to be super, super sore. So now he's like, I'm committed to being up at least at 5 a.m. every single day because when I used to do that, I'd work out, I'd feel better, I'd have more energy. So I committed to calling him and I called him this morning. Or I texted him this morning. I committed to that to say, hey, bro, good morning. I said, good morning, sunshine. That was it. That was my commitment to him. And he's like so thankful. So when you think about what is a standard that you live by in a principle, right? Also, if you were to insert a new standard in your life, what would that be? And what would be the positive results of that new standard that you put into your life? Right? And I want you guys to reflect on that. And if you have an answer, feel free to grab the mic. I would love for you to share, like, what does that actually look like? How would that enhance your life? Because you guys, I'll tell you straight up, I was never an early riser. I was never a man of discipline. And you guys know a different Elias than the Elias at 28, 29, 30. It's just a different Elias because I chose a different standard in my life. And so I'm sure that you guys have standards that you're operating in. And I wanted to share something with you, and it's from this book. It says, the habit of embracing the work. Success has to be deliberate practice. Practice must be focused, determined, and an environment where there's feedback. And Jerry Rice said this, and I have to say this because we are going to the Super Bowls, or the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl this weekend. Today, I will do what others do, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't. Let me say that one more time. Today, I will do what others won't, so I can accomplish what others can't. Everything that you do in this business is going to be based off your standards and your behaviors. Everything. Every single thing is going to be based off your standards and behavior. So I want you guys to sit with that question, those questions for a second. Does anybody have an answer? Does anybody want to answer that at this juncture? Because I know it's a tough one. I see smiles. I say
Can you
this.
say the question one more time, please?
The
You
first
said how
question.
the actions affect your life, or the
No. So the first question is, what are some standards and absolutes that you hold yourself to currently in life and business? And the second one was, if you were to instill a new standard in your life, what would that be? And what would the positive result of that standard be in your life and business? That's it. So let's go. Blessing, you had your hand up. And then I think, Ashley, did your hand go up? All right, cool. And listen, you guys, we have STAR students on this call. We got the Otises, we got the Vernons, we got the Ashleys, we got the Demines, we got the Blessing, we got Joanne. Like, literally get in this conversation and don't just be a fly on the wall. Even if you're nervous, even if, would you take yourself off of mute? Your heart races a little bit. You can't really get your words out. You sweat underneath your fucking armpits. It's all right. Just do it here. Let's go, Blessing.
You literally just described my literally started sweating. The thing that keeps repeating for me, and it's been very recent, although the outside has been really recent, is that what you do in private, you will be rewarded in public for what you do in private. And that has just been like ringing real, real loud. I'll always put myself on the spot. I'll always say, from a place of authenticity, I had to eat a little bit of humble pie a couple weeks ago. I volunteered to do something and didn't get called on. I was like, well, why? Like, why? But I had to take a look and see, you're not really working on it in private. Like, you would have fumbled the ball if you had the mic at that point. So going back, and so my standard has been showing up every single day on camera, going to the gym. It doesn't matter how, like, I didn't want to go today. Today was going to be the day that I was going to break my 13-day record. But what would I be losing? Like, who would I be giving up? Who would I disappoint? And it literally is myself. My standard up until now has been absolutely compromising on myself. And I just made a decision in January that I'm not going to give up on me anymore. I've sat back long enough. So going forward, just simply getting up every day. Like you, Elias, I was not a morning person. My brothers still can't understand why I'm up before 6 o'clock and the fact that I'm happy, because you couldn't talk to me before then. It's not safe for anyone. Now I can have a full conversation. So the standard and the habit are the same, is that I show up with the energy that I want in the day. I'm just not allowing the day to dictate it anymore. And what it's having in my business is that I can look at my day and say, here's the calls I need to make, here's where I need to be, here's how I'm going to have this conversation. And that starts at 4:15 in the morning. So it doesn't matter what's happening throughout the day. I already know what kind of day I'm going to have. So when things kind of shift, okay, it's fine. Just keep rolling with it, because I'm showing myself that I am a consistent person. I'm worthy of every single joy that comes to me, and that my business will grow and thrive. And I said that this is my year, and I claim it today and every day going forward. So whatever it takes, that's how I show up.
Boom. God, I love this. You guys, there was a message from an 18-year-old kid yesterday that is in my world, and it's my coach's son. And ever since he was little, mom and dad have instilled in him, we thrive under pressure. We thrive under pressure. We thrive under pressure. So, like, that's that sentiment now at 18 years old, getting all kinds of college offers. And he's just like, thrive under pressure, thrive under pressure, thrive under pressure. Like, if there is not a heightened level of pressure that you can feel every single day, like, turn that switch up, you guys. I promise you, we will thrive under pressure, or you will realize that, hey, maybe this game isn't for me. And my hope is that we're all rocking for many, many years together. So thrive under pressure. And when you think about standards are you guys, it's absolutes. You know me as a man of standards. There is non-negotiables in my life. And that's what I want for you guys. When you think about your work ethic, when you think about your prospect, when you think about the things that you're doing, like, I got a standard of I'm making 5 videos a week, no matter what, because I'm building on my business, my brand, my identity. I'm having people follow my crusade. That is a non-negotiable. That's a standard, right? I got a standard for the amount of times I'm going to book or create content. That's just a standard, right? And so you have to be able to evaluate your standards, raise them, heighten them, or change them if those standards aren't serving you. So love this conversation. Let's go over to Jake. Or no, Ashley, you had your hand up first, and then it went down.
Yeah, it did go down. Good morning. I was struggling with my new standard, but I'll go through what my standards are right now. So the night before, I schedule out everything on my calendar, and I schedule out my high impact activities. That's a standard that I have for myself. The night before I go to sleep, I do that. In the morning, I read my daily Bible. I run 5 miles. I make a commitment to show up on camera and participate as much as I can. And I try to read something educational every single day. As far as new standards, I think what I'm going to do is find a way once a month to elevate my business. So this month I'm focusing on something called Mortgage Coach, and it is really intricate. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's like the people who have side-by-sides, FHA and conventional, and they do those little videos. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. It's a lot. So it's going to be like a month of learning. So my new standard is elevating myself, investing in myself so that I can provide you guys and clients and people with an elevated experience.
Wow, I love this. And I love, your faith, your intel, but all those things. Okay, check this out. If you don't know Ashley and you've spent any amount of time with her, the standards that she holds herself to are evident. It's evident. It's evident in the way she talks, the way she communicates, the way that she shows up, her video, her content, like, it's evident, right? It's evident. And so think about yourself as like a pro athlete, right? When you think about a Serena Williams, when you think about a Kobe, when you think about a, Steph Curry, if we're all in the Bay Area, these people are in the gym before anybody else is considering going to the gym. They are already on their 200th practice shot before people even start to break a sweat. And that's why they're known as the best ever, right? They're known as the best ever because they're willing to take the reps. If Otis sat there every single day and practiced his listing presentation for 45 minutes a day, I promise you, he would walk into any listing appointment, I don't care what city, what price point, and he would nail it because he did the reps. Did the reps. Let's go Jacob, then we'll go Otis, and we'll go Nicole.
All right, so one thing about me, I have a bunch of aspirations that might be unrealistic to a lot of people. Like, I don't want to be a millionaire. I want to be a fucking billionaire. I want skyscrapers with my name on it. I want my own chauffeur. I want my own limo.
Yeah.
I want fucking nice cars, condos, nice houses. So I have high standards. So what I really need to do, I need to like really focus and I feel like I do. I mean, I stay up until like 4 or 5 a.m. sometimes. A lot of times studying, reading books, taking notes, just trying to learn as much as I can. But I feel like there's more that I can be doing because my dreams are so high. So I feel like there's a lot of things that I could be doing to make myself better.
So first and foremost, get your ass to sleep. You want to be a peak performer, you need sleep. And here's what I'm going to recommend for everybody. There's an app out there. It's called Rise. I want everyone to get that app. RISE. It's a Rise app. What Rise will do, and we've talked about this before, and I mentioned this, is it's going to help you evaluate all of your sleep patterns. And then it's also going to share with you when you're at your peak times, meaning there's going to be a time in the day, and if you can, do this for me. When do you think your peak performance hours are throughout the day? Right? My peak performance hours are between 6 and 11. Like those are that's the height, right? That's the height. I know exactly when I'm on. That's my height. And then you know when you might get a little tired, maybe nap time comes in for some, whatever that looks like. But identify this, you guys, and please let's light up the chat. What do you believe your peak hours are for performance? Let's call that genius time. Let's call that the masterful time, where you're diving into projects or you're doing things at the highest level. When are your peak performance hours? Take a moment, I'm gonna pause and put that into the chat. All right. So Rogier says 7:30 to 2. Vernon says 5 to 11. Rise app. Who is that? Who is that? Jose? Yeah, it is the Rise app. Okay, cool. 7 to 12, 7 to 4. Okay, cool. 6 a.m. to 12, 6. Okay, cool. So during that time, when you know that you have the highest amount of energy, that you're at your peak performance, your mind is clear, you're ready to go, you have all the energy, that's when you need to turn off distractions. You need to turn off notifications from Instagram. You need to turn off any type of notifications that you're getting. You need to put your phone on silent mode if you're working on a project. You need to dive deep into that time where you are at your peak performance, because I promise you guys, so much great work will come in that zone of genius, that Einstein time. But if you were in that zone and you're getting in a project, and please raise your hand if this has happened. Ooh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do my Canva, and I'm going to do my newsletter. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, that shit was funny. Damn, let me comment. Oh, I got to post something. Tell me if that's ever happened to you. So that time, right? That time is the time where you have to embrace it and say, you know what? This is my time. There is no distractions at all. And let me give you a quick example. Now, I'm going to go here, and this might be, see, it's in my calendar, but I think my peak hours are probably even a little bit longer, but 6:30 a.m. to 9:55 a.m. That was based on the Rise app. My morning grogginess from 4:34 to 6:04, that's when I'm waking up, I'm having my coffee, I'm doing my thing, I'm having my morning ritual based on the information that I fed Rise. So when you're in that time of genius, you got to shut the world out, and you got to allow yourself to create when you're at your peak, so you're not getting distracted. You guys, that's something I learned a couple weeks ago. Game changer for me. Otis, let's hear from you, and Jacob. I
Shit.
support the big dream. I support the big dream, bro.
That's like throwing a hammer down right there, just calling me out, because that's me all day. Like I really need to get that focusing, especially when I'm in my top peak. But some of the things that I want to say for myself is with core values. I think that, you know, we tend to overlook it because the way our lives as realtors are set up, right? I mean, you could be focused on one day, you can get a Zillow flex call and you just gotta go. So minding the madness is one thing that I had to really focus on, because I've been a person my whole life. And I think that's why I'm so good at just pushing forward, because I just go. You know, there's steps 1 through 5. I get to step 2, 3, then I'm just like on to the next. So I'm really needing to hunker down on that and stop. I don't know. I think sometimes it's dealing with success. Like my whole life, I always get to a point to where I get to the top level, and it's like, if I feel like it's not serving me anymore, that job or this position, I've always left. That's why I don't really have any longevity in anything besides like music and stuff that I love. So it's a bridge of making this something that you love to do. So that's what I've been figuring out. The biggest thing, the joy, obviously we know, is the key day, but the beginning of the process and putting myself in my buyers or my seller's shoes, like why would I fuck with this guy? Like, you know, I talk to them, but it's like I'm about to spend $1 million. So constantly putting myself not only into what I need to do, but what my buyers or sellers need to do, because it'll make us all in sync. So I'm trying to put myself in the consumer's standpoint as well as the salesperson. So it's kind of hard to put both these hats on, but I feel like the more that I can structure ways to where I know I'm doing everything that I need to be doing and the client needs to be too, that way we can be in a perfect harmony and a perfect sync. So I've been trying to do everything like you just said. Right now, you only hear my phone ring, or if you haven't, you're hearing it ring, it's probably from the lender or somebody that has to do with real estate or a client. And everything else is off because I got ADHD bad. If you ever hear me talking with a group of people, I'm talking over people and everything. So it's learning on tuning those things down. But my biggest thing is that drive, and that's what's keeping me pushing forward. I just downloaded that book you said and a couple other books. And the biggest thing is getting out of my own way. I've been on my own way because I work off of merit. I know I can do video good, but I haven't been doing it. So now I need to do it. So I need to back it up and doing what you know that you're good at instead of just talking, but backing it up. So those are some of the things that I'm focusing on.
Love this. Love this. You know, you said something. I want you guys to ask yourself this question. I asked people in New York, and the question is really simple, and I think it's really introspective. In business, I don't have time to talk about your personal life. I just don't have time for that. What's it like being in a relationship with you? Right? If somebody is interacting with you on a business level, what is it like being in a relationship with you? How do they feel? Do they feel heard? Do they feel cared about? Do they feel that there's high levels of communication? Do they feel amped up to talk? Is it energized? Like what's it like being in a relationship with you in business? Right? Do you have your shit in order? Do you have your things in alignment? Or are you constantly like, oh, well, does you feel scattered when it talks to you? When they talk to you, right? Does it feel like it's a fucking mess when they talk to you? Like there's never a closing of a loop? What's it like being in a relationship with you? And another thing, when we're talking about content, we're not going to talk too much about it, but I want you to ask yourself this and just be real. If you were to open up your Instagram page right now and just look through some of your last, 30 videos, 10 videos, 20 videos, whatever that is, would you follow you? If you showed up on someone's Explorer page, would you follow you? Or is your shit boring? Is there no identity? Is there no way to say, who is that person? What are they about? Would you follow you? Two questions I think that are really powerful. What's it like being in a relationship with you in business? And would you follow you? Be real with your answers too. Nicole Penland, let's go to you and then we'll shift gears.
Okay, so to the first question, the standards I have are always show up and lead by example. I have been given the task and the blessing of raising 2 Black men, so there's no excuses. And if I want them to be better than me, I got to be better myself. And then as far as being in business, what it's like being in a relationship with me, the feedback I get is that I have stuff together, but I always feel like I can do better. So I feel like there's room for improvement, but I mean, there's always room for improvement.
Totally.
I would like things to be seamless so that people don't have questions. And that's my goal. I want to be able to just make it as clear as day so they feel comfortable and confident through the process. So yeah, that's where I am with it.
That's a powerful statement because at the end of the day, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to mitigate doubt, mitigate fear, mitigate trepidation, and we have that responsibility. And the only way that we're able to do that is by educating and leading them. This is why you guys, until the end of time, I'll tell you this: we're leaders and we're teachers. We have to lead them through this process and we have to teach them all the things that they need to know. And by teaching them the things that they need to know and leading them, what you're doing is you're helping to build their confidence. And now they feel secure in the investment that they're making. They feel like you are a true advocate, right? What we do at the highest level is that we have to advocate for our people. And by advocating for them, that means we're leading them and then teaching them. So good stuff, you guys. I want to go around the room and get to hear from a couple people. Marissa, I want to hear from you. Keith, takeaways, thoughts, if you want to share any of your sentiment from Wednesday's call. But Marissa's new to our environment, but not new to sales. She did close to $1 million in sales at Laser Away. So this woman knows all about sales, knows all about production, knows all about moving the needle in business, but she chose to join our team and rock with us. So Marissa, hit us with it. Key takeaways from today and or from Wednesday. Let's go.
I had a really great takeaway from Wednesday's meeting. I'm not new to social media at all, but just the simple things that Giselle was saying, like be on camera, be yourself, don't use filters. Those things really stood out to me. And those are not things that you normally think about. You normally think about, I want to look good on camera. I want to make sure I look presentable. And something that she also mentioned, or somebody else was talking in that meeting, and they were like, I post every single day and I'm not getting the engagement that I was getting before. And she was just like, you need to be posting things that people care about and think that they're important to them and not what's important to you. So that was really a really big takeaway for me, because I was actually in that loop of like just posting things, post whatever I wanted. And so right after that call, I actually went on my Instagram. I didn't add any content. I didn't add anything to my bio, but I started to archive some things that I was like, yeah, this is not important to other people. And I think it was only important to me. So I started editing and drafting some things for my Instagram page.
I would highly encourage you guys to not archive things, because the last thing that Instagram wants to see is that you're deleting things from your profile. And I don't care if it's you out, drinking with the girls or whatever it is, I'm just throwing ideas out there, but Instagram hates when we delete stuff. Now, if there's some stuff that, X's and stuff like, I get it. But I appreciate those takeaways. And then give me one takeaway from today, Marissa.
One takeaway from today would be just what Otis was just saying. He was saying that he needs to learn how to pretty much listen. And I'm on the same, when he's like, oh, I interrupt people when I talk and things like that. I'm like, I have never been diagnosed with ADHD, but I definitely feel that same way. So just kind of taking it slow and doing things at my peak hour. I literally just downloaded the Rise app, and it says my peak hours was, what I said was around 6 to 12 or 11 or 12. And that's exactly what it was. So I'm just going to start focusing on that and doing my best during those times.
That's right. And that's your genius time. That's your Einstein time. That's the time where you could really, really accomplish a lot in this game, in this business. And so I'm glad that you got the app. I want to go over to Aaron Crisp really quick. Aaron Crisp, key takeaways from our time together today, and then I'll come right over to Joanne. And then we'll start to wrap session. Aaron Crisp, key takeaways from our time together.
Well, today's key takeaways, here's what we're going to do next. That's still resonating in my mind, and I feel like my head exploded with that one. But just kind of deciding, what's my standards for myself and how I'm going to show up. From yesterday's call, one of the things in the flowers I'm giving myself is I do what I can to be on camera and to be active in this space. And any time I'm on a Zoom call, anytime I'm interacting with people through this kind of communication, I'm on. So I'm, trying to take a little time to acknowledge the things that I do right, opposed to focusing on all the things I need to improve about myself. But constant evolution and just growing as a person, setting new standards for yourself and being great.
That's right, you guys. At the end of the day, that's all we have is our standards, and we have to keep them high. Joanne, let's go to you really quick, and then we're going to close session. Key takeaways from our time together today.
So being a leader for your clients, and again, here's what we're going to do next. I've been saying it over and over to myself this whole call, because I feel like I need to practice with my buyers consultations, and I'm actually about to follow up with a buyer. He's a buyer and a seller, so I'm about to follow up with him today. So it's very timely for me. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. So here's what we do next. Each of you are going to go and do some writing today. I want you to reflect and say, what are the standards that I currently hold myself to? If I was to instill a new standard, what would that be? And what would be the positive impact of that new standard? And lastly, if I was to hold myself accountable to 3 things this next week, what would that be? What would that be? And feel free to share it with me, share it with the homie. I don't care who you share it with, but share it with somebody that's going to actually kick you in the ass when you are falling short, you guys. Listen, I appreciate you guys. I love you. What I want everyone to do is simply raise your standards. When you raise your standards, everything will follow suit. So you guys, really great session today. Remember to close the loops. Here's what we do next. It's a perpetual baton pass to yourself throughout every single transaction that you do, representing sellers as well as buyers. And once you put that into your flow, you'll see that the conversations will start to become a little bit easier to have and that there's no loose ends. So you guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. Thank you for being on. And thank you for our guests. We got Nick here. We got people from out of the state. My man, Nick, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Mark, thank you for being here. And all the other guests that are on the line today. As always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision, and go out there and crush your weekend. And remember, realtors, we work on the weekends. Peace.